Hello everybody and welcome to another fantasy football video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more about fantasy football, talk fantasy football in general and revolve around the world of fantasy football. I think I said fantasy football too many times, but that doesn't matter. If you want to get involved, go down there, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell so that you don't miss any of my future content, and also like this goddamn video so that you can see future videos similar to this one. Now, what I'm going to be doing in this video is get through all the players in my first draft. Well, basically I have too many drafts, but this is like the draft that has been with me for a record 5 days, no tinkering, so about goddamn time I can make a video. And also I have to travel and stuff, that's why I haven't been able to make a video in recent times, but hopefully it has changed. I'm back in my dorm making videos. So that's it, let's get into the first draft. Hopefully it's on the screen right now. There are some controversial picks, but I'm going to go through every one of them step by step, explain why I picked them. So in goal we have Matthew Ryan at the start with David Button as backup. So Ryan's basically a placeholder for someone like Tom Heaton or Nick Pope. Nick Pope could be first choice with Tom Heaton refusing to sign the Burnley contract, and also I've read somewhere that Tom Heaton has received a $7 million bid from Aston Villa. Not sure whether that's true or not, but of course, this 4.5 million place is still up for grabs. I could go like a bit further and go spend 5 million on something like a Ben Foster or something, but I feel the 5 million keepers are all overpriced except someone like a Kasper Schmeichel, even though because he's been 5 million for a really long time. And then I could go 1 million more and spend it on a premium, or 1.5 million more to get someone like an Edison or an Ellison. But I don't like spending that much on the keeper at the moment. So it's 4.5 million on Matthew Ryan right now, but that's subject to change. The back four. So let's get into the first two, the double Liverpool defenders. So Virgil van Dijk. I could have gone Robertson, but again, Virgil van Dijk only trailed Robertson by 7 points last season, if I'm not mistaken. And also he has a set piece threat, 0.5 million cheaper, 0.5 million. You can use it elsewhere, and they won't have that much difference and in points at the end if my guess is correct. So I'm going Van Dijk. And Alexander-Arnold, his end to the season was he trolled me badly last season. Whenever I own him, he gets injured. Whenever I don't, he tortures me. So hopefully it changes this time. The third premium defender pick, who is Luca Dean, is sort of a controversial. I mean, not controversial, but a bit doubtful in my opinion. Not controversial. He's owned by what, 30% of managers? Let me see. 28.1%. Hell no, this is not controversial. But I still can't get around the fact that I have two Everton players in my team. Like when I owned him last season, we all remember that time, right, where he keeps scoring negative points. Yeah, it's around that time. So I really hope he changes, but overall, Luca Dean, he ended the season brilliantly. Set piece threat. He also crosses wall chances created. He tops the charts. And also points. Everton ended the season 8 clean sheets out of their last 11, and they have a really good set of fixtures to start with. So you can see a little green run over there with just Man City in the middle. So that's all. And so Digne stays, and I have 0.5 million in the bank, so I could go up to the port, but I don't have any City defenders at the moment, but I'm holding up for the left back situation at the moment because if Benjamin Mendy gets back in the good books, I really want him because he last season when he played was absolutely fantastic. That's something I want to keep an eye on. And Digne is probably the one I'll sacrifice if something else happens. Let's move on to the fourth defender, who is Charlie Taylor. Once again, this is a Burnley defender. A differential, I guess, owned by just 2.1% of managers. And wait. Shit, I forgot to connect to the internet, and that is why it's not opening. There we go. Charlie Taylor. Owned by just 2.1% of managers. They do have a little shitty start, but they go on a little green run in the middle, and it rotates well with someone like Ryan Fredericks. Look at this. Game week 2, game week 4, that's when Burnley have some really tough fixtures. West Ham, their fixtures ease off. And that is another thing that I'm looking at. Fredericks, he really has goal threat, but is he nailed on for the starting spot? I'm not really sure, but if he's not nailed on, I could switch to someone like an Issa Diop, who is more nailed, even though he offers much less threat going forward. So that is my 5 defenders. I can rotate between them, rotate between Taylor and Fredericks, and that is something I'm comfortable with rather than 4 premium defenders, and that could take a chunk out of my midfield, which includes, of course, Mohamed Salah. I have had a few drafts where I didn't go Salah, but I don't know. At the end of the day, watching a match when you don't own Salah is basically torturing yourself, so I'm not going to go down that route. Salah stays in my team no matter what. You can't change it. Raheem Sterling. So this one, I didn't include him in like the early days, but towards the back end I decided to include him. I mean, I sacrificed a premium defender and a premium goalkeeper for Raheem Sterling. And also Raheem Sterling has that, I don't know, it's like a solid captaincy option, and Salah and Sterling, they do rotate nicely, and they are both reliable top 2 scorers for the past 2 seasons. Hopefully they can continue that again. Sigurdsson, again, mainly because of Everton's really strong start to the season. I want to cash in on them. Of course, if they flop, I'm screwed big time because I invested 14% of my total budget on Everton players. Like, it's a huge risk, but easy fixtures. Hopefully they get the hang of it. 14% on Everton and 14.5 on Bournemouth players. Like, I don't know what kind of pills I take, but surely they aren't working. I'm playing this game wrong. David Brooks, he's basically because I didn't want to go Tielemans at the moment because of Leicester's fixtures. I don't really want to invest in a team with that shitty of a fixtures, but I do agree Tielemans is a better option long term. Short term, it's this guy. Sheffield United, Aston Villa, back to back. I really want to cash in on them. So, and then Callum Wilson. This is totally against Twitter at the moment. Yes, it's on my 24.6% of managers overall, but on Twitter, most teams I see doesn't have Wilson but King in them. Yes, King is 1.5 million cheaper, but I don't know. Wilson just like has a higher point ceiling. He scored more points than King, despite playing nearly 500 minutes less. So if they play the same amount of minutes, Wilson would definitely blow King out of the water. So I'm going with Wilson, and that option hopefully pays off. And the second striker option, Jared Deulofeu, it can easily be taken by Diogo Jota. It represents any 6.5 million striker except Josh King, because no one in their right mind will double up on Bournemouth attackers. Triple up on Bournemouth attackers, I mean. No one in their right mind will do that. So Jared Deulofeu is basically a placeholder for probably Diogo Jota or someone in the 6.5. Troy Deeney as well. He's on penalties. Something to keep an eye on. Now let's move on to the bench. I've already explained Button. Dan Donker, he's basically someone 4.5 who's played every match of the second half ever since Wolves switched to the 3-5-2 with 3 midfielders. Ryan Fredericks, he's rotating with Charlie Taylor, and that gives me 2 viable playing defender options. And of course the third one, which is my only Man United player, despite being a Man United fan, I only included one, and that is Mason goddamn Greenwood. Basically, let's take the FPL hat off for a minute and bring on the Man United hat on. I want Mason Greenwood to get lots of minutes this season. If he doesn't get anywhere near 1,500 minutes, I'll be really disappointed. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he said a lot about developing youth, but he is the most obvious youngster in our club at the moment, smashing in the youth system. How obvious does it have to be for him to get a chance? Angel Gomez was the same like 3 years ago, and his biggest impact was coming off on Wayne Rooney. Like, okay, before I go rage, I'm gonna put back FPL head back on. So Greenwood, something to keep an eye on because he probably will get minutes this season, And if he does, I have a playing bench, a literally playing bench with Dan Donker, a West Ham defender, and Mason Greenwood all getting minutes. Hopefully that is the case. I really like the look of my team right now. I don't think there's much to change. Probably the two Liverpool defenders will stay. Sigurdsson, Salah, Sterling, they'll all stay. Wilson will stay. Then Donker will stay. Greenwood will stay. Button will stay. So probably 1, 3, 4 players out of this 15. 5 players out of this 15 is likely to change. Otherwise, that's a pretty settled team going into game week 1 of the new season. And now I said it, it's quite boring, mainly because I have an entire month to spare. What the actual heck? This is probably I'm playing this game wrong, right? And another thing that I really want to keep an eye on is Callum Hudson-Odoi. I probably should have said it when I was explaining Brooks. Brooks is 6.5, Hudson-Odoi is 6. If Hudson-Odoi is fit, Chelsea has a really good set of fixtures. So if I can get this on screen, Chelsea have a really good run from game week 3 against Norwich to somewhere like game week 12, which is early November against Crystal Palace. They have a really good run. Hudson-Odoi is set to be their main player. So I really want to get into the Chelsea whole setup, and Hudson-Odoi seems like the best option, probably the most exciting option. I see value in their defense, but given how my defense is shaping up right now, I don't really think I can squeeze one defender into the setup. And Hudson-Odoi seems the easiest way, since I just have to sacrifice David Brooks. I don't really like the Chelsea strikers because Giroud, he doesn't have that many goals in him. Last season he did play some minutes, but not enough goals. Michy Batshuayi, decent I guess. Tammy Abraham, not Premier League tested at the moment, so you don't want to take a risk with them. And Hudson-Odoi, well, he did do well in the blip and the glimpses we saw last season. Another one is Ruben Loftus-Cheek, so those two are someone I'm keeping an eye on. So that's about it. Hope you liked the video. This is my first draft. Do you see improvements elsewhere? I have $500,000 in the bank. Do you see any upgrades elsewhere, or should I keep the 0.5 million for flexibility? What do you think? Give some opinions in the comments down below, and while you're down there, of course, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell so that you don't miss any of my future content, and like the goddamn video as well, so you see similar videos to this one where I talk FPL, and hopefully I can get some content out of the way since I'm back to making videos, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Have a great one, and I'll talk to you in a while. See ya.